Hello and welcome to my February 2019 Blu-ray update video. This is part 1, The Return of the Fopp. I went to Fopp again. Don't know why, I'm just torturing myself and my wallet, but I was coming through London a few days ago, and I thought, Fopp's just down the road. I could go down to Fopp again. If you remember the last update, Big Bag of Fopp, I bought a number of the BFI sale titles. In fact, I think they're still... Are these the ones? Yes, they are. In fact, I could just... To give you a little bit of context here, I can actually show you the ones that are still on the... not even the shelf, just kind of the temporary loading bay. These are the BFI titles I bought from Fopp in January. So we've got Farewell My Concubine, got Life is Sweet, all £6. Celine and Julie Go Boating, The Informer, The Magic Flute, and The Wages of Fear. And to these 6 titles I now add another 5. And the thing that really made me want to go back to Fopp was, again, the whole HMV situation. We don't know, hey, we got to talk about the HMV situation. We don't know what's going to happen with them, if they're going to go under. Obviously Fopp is under HMV. I know that neither Fopp or HMV are receiving new stock at the moment. So it was one of those things where, I just thought, are these ridiculously good sale prices going to be around forever? And there was a few more BFI titles I was kind of tempted by, so I thought I'd go back. Particularly the Ozu movies, the films of Yasujiro Ozu are covered, not extensively, but fairly decently in the BFI collection on Blu-ray. And I know they've released a lot of his films on DVD, for example. But I wasn't sure which ones I had because they're so similarly titled. So I have an Autumn, Afternoon, and Late Autumn, along with, of course, Tokyo Story. But as far as the seasonal movies go, I had no idea which ones I had because I haven't seen them yet. So I bought, I think, 2 more Ozu titles and 5 BFI titles in total. On top of that, I have 2 Artificial Eye Curzon releases and a 88 Films Shaw Brothers release. And also, which we're going to kick things off with, is the very highly talked about recent release from Arrow Video, the limited edition deluxe box set, you could kind of call it, of the absolute masterpiece of the 1990s, Waterworld. Now this is a film. So Waterworld, universally panned, you know, absolutely bombed at the box office, was one of the legendary flops of the 1990s, of film, you know, cinema history, you could even say. Huge budget, made not much of it back, and just, you know, got absolutely slated from every single angle. And over the years, it's become more of a cult movie. There's been kind of a warmer reception to it. And I watched it with Connie a couple of years ago in one of our 24-hour movie marathons. I think the guideline was watch a flop. Wasn't expecting much. Loved it. Not a great film, but I loved the kind of the idea of it. I mean, the idea has been done before, more successfully, in fact, in things like the anime series, Future Boy Conan, a future in which the kind of you know, the world has become, you know, completely overrun with water, and the sea levels have risen, and the world has sunk, basically. So there's those kinds of, you know, the sea level has risen, apocalyptic stories have been done before. But to see it in a live-action movie, in the scope and scale that you see it in this film, particularly in the first half when you get that kind of floating village set, which is just amazing. Forget the story, forget the characters. I'm just love looking at that set. You know, I think it's incredible. But it's a really fun, kind of goofy, you know, 90s action movie. But it has that kind of adventure vibe to it as well. I just really, really liked it. So purely just to fondly remember watching it with Connie in the 24-hour movie marathon, I wanted to get this, but I was in no real rush. But then they, just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in, man. They've loaded this thing up to the gills with special features, and particularly 2 limited edition exclusive discs. The second disc of which contains the TV cut in high definition, the extended United States TV cut, which runs over 40 minutes longer than the theatrical cut. This isn't like, I didn't even say theatrical cut properly, and I was, the words were rumbling out my mouth. Rumbling out my mouth? What am I talking about? The words were flying out my mouth. See, I can't talk. The words were flying out of my mouth so fast I couldn't even get the word theatrical out of it. I'll leave all that in for free just for you. So where was I going with this? Yes, this is no mere kind of, 5 minutes added in. This is 40 minutes. I mean, it's already like over 2 hours. So this actually takes the running time to 176 minutes, almost a 3-hour movie. The third disc contains the Ulysses cut, which I believe stems from many different fan versions of re-edits of this film, called the Ulysses cut, which is the same thing as the extended US TV cut, but includes previously censored shots and dialogues. I guess some more kind of violence or bad language, I suppose. Or it says the European cut. I don't know the history on that. That's basically all I'm going off is just what I've very lightly read into it. And then we have, like an archival making of featurette, a film essay, a video essay by film critic Glenn Kenny, production and promotional stills gallery, visual effects stills gallery, original trailers and TV spots, and a new feature-length documentary on the making of the film called Maelstrom, The Odyssey of Waterworld, which I'm sure features no new interviews with the key people who made the film, but regardless will probably give a lot of insight into the troubled production and so on. So an absolutely stellar release from Arrow Video, from a film you would never expect them to cover. I love the artwork, I love the hardbound, the proper solid outer casing. There's a 60-page booklet, there's a poster. It's just an all-round incredible release. Now, I put an order in for the Zatoichi Criterion Blu-ray box set, which went on Amazon for like £23 or something. It was a price glitch. And I put an order in just so I could maybe like give it to a friend or something. And it was such a big kind of issue. Everyone was ordering this Zatoichi box set, and it was at a price where they would lose so much money. So they cancelled all the orders and gave everyone a £5 gift credit, which was incredible. So I just took that off this, and so this cost me about £18, I think. So I think I'm one of the last people to get it because it's going really quickly now. It's almost out of print, I think. And yeah, I look forward to watching this again. And also, what really shifted me onto this is the fact that the screens came out. The screenshots of this Blu-ray look incredible. Like, they've done a three cuts of the film, newly restored from original film elements. So nothing like 4K or 2K scans, but even then, you don't need to have the 2K, 4K label slapped onto a Blu-ray to mean, oh, that means it's going to be great. The screenshots alone of this, it looks like from the studio Blu-ray, it's almost like going from DVD to Blu-ray. Like, I'm intrigued to see how it looks in motion, but that really sold me and a lot of people, and that's what really started. Like, it just goes to show for all you companies out there, do an incredible job with not just the restoring of the film, or again from the original film elements. Arrow Films did this themselves. If you do it properly and you encode it properly, you compress it properly, and it looks great on the disc, when those early screens come out, people are going to flock to this because we love a great looking film, and it might be a case where this isn't one of my favorite films or anything, but the fact that it looks incredible and has all the special features, they're going to make their money back on it. So yeah, there we go. There's Waterworld. I've talked about that one far too much, and you'll probably hear me and Graham talk about that a little bit more on episode 3 of the Blu-ray Condition podcast. Cheap plug. Now on to the actual Fopp pickups. And there's actually, I've held off 3 more of the Fopp pickups for the next part of this Blu-ray update where it's all animated films. So I picked up 3 animated films from Fopp as well. So this isn't even all of it, but regardless, 2 artificial eye releases. The first one I wanted to see because I think it won the Oscar last year for the best foreign film. But I saw CJ for Film included it in his top 10 films of 2018 video. It is A Fantastic Woman. So this is a film by Sebastian Lelio, and I've just heard nothing but really, really good to great things about this film. And I love foreign cinema, and I have always found really any film that has been nominated for an Oscar for the best foreign picture is usually great. Like, I always try and watch them all every year, and I'm always just like, great, great, great. There's just something about the way people make films in other parts of the world that just give you a different perspective on things, and often they have the artistic liberty and license to do things in a much more focused way. You don't get a sense this is just like a Hollywood movie. As much as I love Hollywood films and kind of, mainstream movies, there's something about films that are a bit more delicate and interesting, I think, which is a terrible word to use, but interesting does spring to mind when I think about foreign films, and I look forward to checking this out. I think it is Spanish. No, it's from Chile, Germany, and Spain. So who knows which actual country this is made in or set in, but regardless, a fantastic woman. It's about a transgender woman and I guess her struggles after, I believe, her partner dies, and his family struggle to accept her as, I guess, part of the family, from what I understand. This is another one that I think was nominated but didn't win. Or if not, I just was very aware of it. I think it's a Swedish film. I really wish they'd say on the back of these Blu-rays. It just says Sweden, France, Norway, Denmark. I'm fairly sure it's a Swedish movie, and it is Force Majeure. This came out a few years ago. I was so close to watching it, and this was £5 with any other purchase, so I thought I'd throw that in there with my whole order and check it out. It's about a family, I believe, at a ski resort, and there is an avalanche, which you can kind of tell just by looking at the cover of the movie. It's a fairly simple setup. Before we get to the 5 BFI titles, I also grabbed a 88 Films release, The One-Armed Swordsman. I really do like these Shaw Brothers releases. I have a few of them. I've only watched one of them, though, I have to say, but I really enjoyed it. And so it's so cool that old kung fu movies like this get the kind of, you know, deluxe treatment with a nice slipcover. We got some special features. There's an audio commentary with Bay Logan, who is just an absolute kind of, he has an abundance of information on these movies to talk about. I mean, anything you could possibly want to know is in the audio commentaries that he does for these releases. Not that he does them for every release, but I think I've listened to one of them, and it was just mind-blowing the amount of information he has, but I believe he lives over there and works over there, from what I understand. So what drew me to this one, I don't know if it's the case. When was this film released? Let's see if it says in the back. 1967. Okay. I'm not sure when the Zatoichi movies were made. I think it was during the 60s and 70s. So there is a film in the Zatoichi collection called Zatoichi Meets the One-Armed Swordsman. I'm intrigued if this is the same thing. Maybe it isn't, and if it isn't, it isn't. But I also saw an interview with John Carpenter on the Big Trouble in Little China Blu-ray, and he talks about watching films like The One-Armed Swordsman, and that was kind of an inspiration for Big Trouble in Little China. So I thought I'd grab this one and add it to the 88 Films collection. And now finally we have the 5 BFI titles. I'll leave the Ozu ones till last. So this one is actually one of the films I recorded from Filmstruck, so I can kind of delete that one off my hard drive now. I'd rather see it in full high definition quality as it is. This is a Japanese film from 1963, directed by Kon Ichikawa. That name rings a bell. Interesting, but I can't recall why. It is An Actor's Revenge. This has a Criterion release too, I believe. So I don't even know the story about this one. It's in the book, 1001 Movies You Must See Before You Die. It's a wildly melodramatic tale of a kabuki female impersonator who exacts a long-delayed revenge on the man who drove his parents to suicide. On the men who drove his parents to suicide. Okay. Oh, okay. So it's a guy impersonating a woman who's trying to get revenge on the men who drove his parents to suicide. Really interesting. Okay. So yeah, just some of the shots on the back look really nice, you know, as far as the cinematography is concerned. This has a new audio commentary. It has 100 years of Japanese film by Oshima. Okay, that's interesting. It's a kind of a documentary about the first century of Japan. Wow, I didn't even know this was on here. This is awesome. So a 52 documentary by Oshima, the award-winning director of In the Realm of the Senses. Okay, moving swiftly on. We have 4 rare archive films documenting Japanese life from newsreels from the 1920s and 30s. That is fantastic. That's the sort of stuff I fucking love BFI for doing. It's just including these random oddities, especially from like the silent era. Awesome release. Again, I just grabbed it. It's in the book. I needed to see it, and you know, again with these BFI titles, they're nice and weighty. They got a nice booklet. You know, you feel like you're getting your money's worth with these things, especially it's £6 a title. It's almost like they're throwing it away. This one, a film by Diane Peruse, Peppermint Soda. I liked the sound of the title. It just sounds like a nice title. So I did look at the back, and it is a French film from the 70s, directed by Diane. And again, it's kind of like a trendy thing to talk about at the minute, but I certainly find a different kind of sensibility to movies that are directed by women. And so I do try and seek more of them out if I can. And so this one just kind of drew me in based on that. There's an interview with the director from 2008. and a collection of photographs and production materials that the director shows in 2008 also. So this is a coming-of-age tale, and I believe it's set in a school. It certainly looks like it from the front cover. It might not be, but either way, it's a coming-of-age tale, and I love coming-of-age stories. And yeah, so it's about teenage sisters, one who's introverted, and I guess the other one is not. So there we go. Peppermint Soda. Always welcome thoughts on these films if you've seen them. And then we have this one, which is kind of, I think, going to try and kickstart perhaps a goal for 2019. I already have quite a few goals for movie watching in 2019, but I'd like to make this one. My Beautiful Laundrette. This is a film from 1985, who's directed by Stephen Frears and starring Daniel Day-Lewis. So I have seen one Daniel Day-Lewis performance, and that is his final performance in Phantom Thread. So I really want to kind of check out more of his roles to see what they're like, because I was so just blown away by his performance in Phantom Thread. This one is loaded with special features, from a 98-minute kind of audio Q&A from 1986. You know, again, contemporary stuff made in 2015 as far as like looking back on the film. 30-minute documentary and all sorts of stuff on it. A short film from 1994. It's just absolutely packed with special features, but mainly just, again, and British cinema is something I am so completely out of the loop on. It really, really is. So to see a young Daniel Day-Lewis and see what he was like as an actor back then will be really interesting. I would assume it's more of a regular role, because in recent years he's done very kind of outlandish stuff like Lincoln, and where he has to kind of transform himself and put on a different voice and all that kind of thing. I'm assuming he's a bit more natural in that because it's a British film. I might be wrong, who knows. And then finally we have two more films to add to the Ozu Collection: Late Spring and Early Summer. So these both seem to star the incredible Setsuko Hara, who is just a wonderful actress, and I don't want to look into these. I really don't. I don't want to read the plots. From what I understand, these are all films about family. Tokyo Story, I think, is just one of the greatest films of all time. So, Ozu's just a director I really need to just dive into and really begin, excuse me, a suppressed burp there, really need to explore his films more, but it's something I'm not rushing into. They're always going to be there. And I like that they're there on the shelf. I know that it's like, that's a likely masterpiece on my shelf that I've never seen before, and that's kind of exciting. So both of them have bonus movies. I think most of the Ozu Blu-ray collection has a bonus film, only on DVD though, from what I understand. Yes, DVD only for both of the... Oh no, wait. This one has high definition presentations of both films. So this one has Late Spring and The Only Son. So the Late Spring is from 1949, The Only Son is from 1936. Being the 30s in Japan, I can only assume that's probably a silent film. So that's cool, actually, two high-definition films. And then this one has Early Summer from 1951, and from 1937, What Did the Lady Forget? And these both have booklets, and I don't think there's any actual special features apart from the bonus movie, but hey, who's gonna, turn their nose up at an extra film as the special feature? So there we go. That's been the return of the Fopp. I can't see myself really having the time nor the money to go back to Fopp unless it continues to thrive and exist for many years to come, in which case I'd love to go back. But as of right now, it doesn't. The forecast does not seem good on me returning to Fopp. So I kind of went out with a little bit of a bang, and in the end came away with 11 BFI titles and a number of other things I've already talked about. So thank you for watching. Leave your thoughts down below on any of the films I talked about. And I'll see you in the next one, which will be part 2, where I talk about the 3 animated films I got from Fopp, as well as a couple of other animated Blu-rays I got through other places. So that is it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.
It's alright by me. Apart from the fact he throws cans of Carlin into a tree. Yeah, he's really cool. Yeah, he's really cool. But he's not quite as cool as you.